Well, they were the days, weren't they? They were the days. Let me tell you a little story. Now, back in 1970, I believe it was, in 1970, there was this man. Now, this man, he had a job at, well, I don't know what kind of job it was, but he worked at a manufacturing plant. I think it was like Chicago or Detroit or somewhere in the Midwest. I believe there was. So this guy, he had this job. He was like a blue collar worker, I believe. And now the story is, in 1970, this man left his job and went home. And guess what he did at his home? It so happened that he was a married man, so when he got home, he had sex with his wife in 1970. So, in other words, to make a long story short, the man had sex with his wife in 1970. Now, if you want me to swear about it, I'll swear about it. The man fucked his wife in 1970. There, I swore. And so he was young and stuff in 1970, and he was able to get it up and make sweet love with his woman in 1970. But nowadays, as for the guy who had sex with his wife in 1970, he likes living in a nursing home, and his wife unfortunately passed away 9 years ago. Once upon a time, they were young and healthy and handsome and pretty, but now they're falling apart. So is likely to be everyone else. That's how it's always been. Well, people are young and they have lust, and they make the love, and they get the kids, and they grow old, and the kids grow old, and they become adults and stuff and do what they do, and then they grow old, and so forth, so forth, so forth. So many generations of people being born, people growing up, people making the money, people making the love, people growing old, and people passing away, generation after generation. That's how it's always been. But one thing is for certain, though, they does not always have cars to take their private parts and genitals back to the wife to make the love, to make the kids. Be having a sex, be making the kids, you know. They didn't have the vehicles to do that back in, but way back generations ago, you know. But as for that man back in the 1970s, he had sex with his wife. Now he's like a dementia patient at a nursing home, I believe. I believe this nursing home is in Philadelphia. Because 9 years ago, back when he was in Chicago or Detroit or somewhere like that in the Midwest, and his wife passed away, his mind was starting to go bad because of that. So that child he had when he had sex with his wife in 1970 made the decision to move him out to Philly where the child lived, and he made the decision to have his father put in like a nursing home since his mind was going bad 9 years ago when his wife passed away. So that's where the former young gentleman is from 1970 who had sex with his wife. Currently old geezer living in a nursing home now. But yeah. And those birds I hear chirping out there are pretty much cardboard, you know, right? Or my cardboard too. Am I made out with carbon, 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 carbon? Are you all carbon? Is every little molecule you're made of carbon? Ha ha.